Go ahead.
Just kind of revisiting Fletcher's game the other day. How do you keep him well fed, so to speak, when Braden and Zach and pick and roll and stuff is such a big part of your offense? Obviously, you play through Zach. To have a piece like that you're not necessarily running 30 plays a game for. How do you sort of find that balance?
Well, I think it's are you going to play through somebody, or are they going to play off of the other guys? And some great players here have played off of other guys. You can't take it as a knock. It's just, Braden's really good at ball screens, and Zach's dives and Zach's post-ups, get a lot of attention. Like, you can just kind of look at, like, his baskets. Like, he made some nice plays, but it all starts with an angle. And I think that's it. Like, he had a couple inside-outside threes, which some teams just aren't going to allow, right? They covered down ball side a couple times, and they didn't rotate. We were able to hit probably 3 threes that way. But no, just, take what the defense gives you. Don't look at it as, I need to get 12 to 15 shots a game. If you do, like you did the other night, which actually you got more, that's great. That's great, because like when you look back and you have a high volume game of shooting, you say, okay, now what shot shouldn't you have taken? I would say the driving layup at the end of the first half would be one that jumps out for me, but I don't know if anything else jumps out. And that's a good game. Even if he misses more, it doesn't matter. As long as you're taking quality shots and doing it within the offense. We try to push the basketball. We've tried to be more aggressive in transition. So he gets a couple of those too, and I think that helps to get a couple of those transition threes. But no, just play the game the right way and let things organically come to you.
I think people probably look at his body and think, hey, this guy's not suited to playing really physical basketball games.
Right.
But Arkansas, Tennessee, Arizona all are pretty physical teams.
Right.
Those are his 3 best performances. Is he better against people that really body him up and he can go past?
I don't know. I think anytime you can create angles for him, he's going to be better when he's dribbled the basketball. There's no question about that. Like when we started the season, he was trying to make a lot of plays versus set defense, and he wasn't having as much success. And just like, waiting for those opportunities, whether that's somebody in a closeout, whether that's somebody in a rotation after Zach gets doubled, whether it's somebody blitzing a ball screen and he's coming from behind on it. But no, he's a competitive player, and he gets up for games, and I think he's seen a little bit to where he has a better purpose, I should say, or a better focus after he has a tough game. Like we didn't finish the game for us at Alabama. He didn't have a good Gonzaga game. Those Tennessee and the Arizona games, obviously, I think that motivates him. I think what you're really searching for is trying to get that consistency, right? It's trying to have that. You wish you could have that type of a game every game. I think that's kind of fool's gold to think he's going to average 27. But you still want those hustle plays, like the plays he made against Tennessee, the charges he took against Arizona, like the physical, tough diving plays where it results in a timeout. Like those are the things that we need from him. If he gets us 25, great. If he gets us 10, great. But you got to be able to make those other plays, and he's proven that he can.
The Arizona game, Boswell didn't have a very good game. Larson didn't. Were those points of emphasis of things you wanted to take away defensively? And if so, what does it really mean? Because usually we talk about it with ED as a team going to try to take them away or let other people beat them.
Yeah, Boswell and Love were the 2 guys that we thought that could go make individual plays. We knew how streaky Love was. We played, against him when he was at North Carolina. We had Boswell in USA Basketball. He made our team last summer, so I watched him play, and I knew how talented he was, and that he can really get things going. He can make deep pull-up threes. He just never got going, and obviously Love did. But no, Larson's a good shooter, but he's not a high-volume shooter. He's never been a guy that averages 2.5 threes a game. He shoots a good percentage, but he only averages 1 make a game. So we wanted to be with him. We knew he was a good right-hand driver and a passer. More than anything, but just trying to bottle up Boswell, he never really got into the rhythm of the game, so to speak.
Did your offense struggle with their zone, or was it just a coincidence that they made their run?
Yeah, Zach gets 3 post-ups. Yeah. And what spoils you is that a lot of times when we run stuff, he gets 3 dunks. Like, you know what I mean? And sometimes, like, when he makes post-ups, you take it for granted like it's the same thing. And the 10-foot jump hook is not the same as a dunk. So we get him those jump hooks through the zone, and he doesn't make it. So it makes it feel worse than anything. Fletcher split the defense one time, and Braden put the ball at his ankles another time. And besides that, we got really pretty good looks. But it doesn't feel that way, right? As you watch the game, it doesn't feel that way.
There were 2 open threes in that stretch, too.
Yeah, and so, you can't get upset. You can't say, okay, what we're doing is wrong, because we would always take those shots from Zach, and we would always take those open threes. And then Braden made a 3, and then Lance made a huge 3. Zach got a couple baskets through it also. But like you said, it didn't feel that way. When you go back and watch it, you say, okay, there was 10 things that we ran, 8 of them were successful in terms of getting a good shot. Those 2 turnovers weren't. So it's one of those things where it's a little difficult to prepare. You got to prepare for things, but if you just want to prepare for everything, you're going to practice for 4 hours. You're going to say, well, what are you working on? Full court run and jump, man-to-man defense. You're like, they don't do that. Well, because they could. And you say, well, work against a 1-3-1. Well, they don't do that. Why are you working on that? Well, they could. Well, work against a 3-2 zone defense that you haven't seen in a long time. Well, why would you work against it? You haven't seen it. Well, they could. You could just keep going in the game of basketball. There's a lot of things that people don't do that you're not going to prepare for because they don't do it. And so that was something that I thought we did a pretty good job. I didn't think we did a great job. But it's also you're always learning as a coach. What should they do? The one thing I thought they would do is put Braden to his left hand, but they hadn't done that the whole year. But I just said, man, he just wore the right side of the court out against Alabama. I was like, man, if I was going against this, I would do that. And then I talked about what we're going to run for zone play before the game. I said, because I felt we could have some success offensively and they could go to a zone even though they haven't shown one. So those were the 2 things that I said before the game that I thought, we could possibly see that we haven't seen so far. And they did put him to his left hand, and he had a lot of success going to his left hand. So his pull-up going left is about the same going right. So in his passing, I think he would prefer to go that way, but he did some really good things going left.
Just this game tomorrow night, you saw it happen in the Big Ten yesterday with Indiana and Maryland really struggling at home. It's kind of that time of year.
Correct.
Anything you want to see these next 2 games from your team from an intangible perspective?
Yeah, I think more than anything, just playing with purpose. Teams go and they play some high-level games. Indiana plays Kansas. We play Arizona. It's hard to get back up for that game, but that's your job. That's what you have to do as a coach. You got to get guys ready to play. You got to get guys to play with the focus and take care of the basketball. I think that's more than anything. Just keep getting quality shots. That helps set your defense. But yeah, it's that time of the year, right? Go on, Christmas break, tomorrow at 9 p.m. That's when you go on Christmas break. Don't go on Christmas break too early. But it's a tough deal. It's a tough deal for a lot of people. But it's the same for everybody.
You're mentoring young coaches.